How's it going, guys? Welcome to episode 61 of Cool Talk Podcast. Here we are with another exciting episode, and I am joined by none other than Hamid and Parmido. Welcome, guys.
Oh, thank you so much for having us.
How you doing? Can't wait to unpack this episode with you. You know,
Me neither.
Super excited.
Yeah,
super
I'm also excited
to dive into this whole thing.
And thank you so much for having us. And it's a great honor to do this whole show
pleasure.
with you, Parmido.
My pleasure.
Thank you for having us again.
Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it?
I really don't remember.
Yeah.
Seriously,
2 months, 3 months ago.
Time flies. I really don't know when was the last time.
Not in our case. I guess the last one we did was out in nature, and everybody loved
Out in
it.
nature.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Episode 60, guys.
Thank you so much for all the love and comments and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
If you haven't checked it out, you can check it out on YouTube, Instagram, and Castbox.
Yeah, it was a great episode.
Oh, thank you.
Love podcasters.
Thank you.
That's
thank
what I
you.
say.
We love
My
that.
favorite platform. Anyway, so what are we going to do in this episode?
We are going to touch up on a couple of different issues. And I love the idea that we're going to...
We are going to hit the mark, man.
Oh, yes.
That's actually one of the things you guys can actually do.
AI is big these days, so we're definitely going to talk about that, and we're going to get some language tips out of this whole topic. And
we're going to provide some context as well. Am I right, Parm?
Yeah.
So what do you got for us?
Well, I want to talk about something that most of us are stuck with, like having the courage to change your life and having discipline in order to get to what you really have to in your life for personal growth,
exciting
improvement, and stuff like
Any
that.
expressions related to that?
Lots of them, actually. So I was watching this podcast by, who was that?
Jordan Peterson.
Jordan Peterson. This is the first time I've forgotten his name.
This is actually the most famous psychologist in the world.
Yeah.
No.
I am, man. Do not underestimate me. That's
It's very necessary.
I was watching a combination of his motivational speeches, the best ones actually.
Yeah.
And he was saying, you will be miserable if you get stuck in something that you don't like. And if you don't make a change, you will be there like for the next 5 years and you'll get older. Nothing has changed.
Yeah.
You will be miserable.
left with lots of regret.
So get stuck. Care to elaborate a bit on it?
So when you don't make any changes in your life, when you are not happy with a situation, when you're in distress, in discomfort, but you don't want to change because something that is familiar but horrible is more acceptable to you than taking risks, doing something to improve yourself, but maybe you're not even sure about whether it's going to work or not, so you're scared. And you finally end up not doing anything.
Speaking of context, let's provide some. When I was a kid, I was watching this beautiful animation called Chicken Run.
Right.
There was this little chicken called Ginger, and she said, she went like, guys, I'm stuck. Can't get out.
Right.
I think that was my first encounter.
With the word stuck. Right.
Yeah. Speaking of providing context, that's what we're going to do in this episode, guys.
Or you get stuck in traffic.
Get stuck in traffic.
Yeah,
get stuck in elevator.
Yes, there's a negativity around it, right?
Help me out. I'm stuck in an elevator.
Get stuck in a miserable situation.
Yeah. So basically, you get stuck with something that is unfavorable, right?
Something like that. You don't like it. That's why you're stuck. If you like it, you're happy. It's not being stuck in it.
So get plus the past participle of the verb stick.
That's right. And it takes a lot of courage to get out of your comfort zone, right?
It does.
Yeah.
Comfort zone.
Comfort zone.
Care to elaborate?
Well, things that we like, things that we usually do. The routine is always, more comfortable to stay with the things that you do.
Where'd you learn that phrase? Can you trace it back to some specific scene or something like that?
I don't necessarily remember the first time I encountered the word or the phrase, but.
So I was watching this documentary, martial arts and everything, and the guy said, you have to get out of your comfort zone.
That's where you grow.
That's where you grow.
That's where you grow.
Followed by those exact words. He said, you got to get out of your comfort zone if you want to grow.
That's right.
You can say that when you're stuck in a career that you don't like. You're in your comfort zone. Like, that's why you don't try anything new.
In your comfort zone, yet miserable.
Yeah.
I think that's another word you want to touch on.
That's the word I want to talk about. Miserable.
Miserable.
I like this.
Feeling utterly miserable Like,
Utterly
worst
miserable. Is she showing up
situation
with a British
ever, but
I
you're
guess
not
she is, I
getting
guess
out
she
of
is.
it.
She is showing up with a British
Now
accent.
they
is
are going
showing
to
off.
make fun of me.
And we're not
Utterly.
having it.
Okay, let's
Right.
say utterly miserable.
Utterly
I
miserable.
can't say it. But anyway,
Right.
so miserable.
Yeah. Being utterly miserable, getting stuck in a miserable situation, all of these beautiful collocations.
Let's trace it back to a beautiful scene I watched on Friends. Rachel was pregnant. She wanted Ross to do something. I'm not going to say what, but she said, "Come on, Ross, I'm miserable here. Got to do it."
Right, right.
And Ross was, "No, I'm not going to do it." So she said, "Come on, Ross, I'm miserable here."
Yeah.
So it's not like I lost everything or I don't have any money or I'm poor. I mean, well, it means that as well. But I suppose depending on the context, it might actually mean different things.
You can refer to different situations.
So when
you
she says
use the
I'm
word
miserable here, she means
it's emotional.
emotionally miserable.
So basically, let's remind our viewers that it's always easier to, acquire language
Exactly.
when you know the context, when you're involved, right, in a situation. When you're playing games, you're watching movies, series, anything.
Context. The more
Right, it matters.
contextualized, the better.
Don't learn in a vacuum. That's all.
Language learning does not happen in a vacuum. Yeah.
Doesn't.
All
It's
right.
a part
go
of the
ahead.
culture.
It doesn't
so,
help to memorize anything. I sometimes do that. I first remember the context I learned something in,
Yeah.
and then make sentences with it, use it, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, lots of stuff here like causality, logical causality. I was talking to a guy and he was explaining to me what logical causality here. Okay, that's one without having to search for it. So I can provide context for every single one of these phrases that I talked about here. Switch to relying on AI. But if I'm going to provide you with one, what was it? His attitude soured. Pretty interesting word, by the way.
I like this.
Sour. So we mostly say it when we're talking about like sour cream or when something creates a sour taste in your mouth. But the thing is, sometimes people's attitude can sour as well, or relations could sour. So I was watching this beautiful podcast called Nick's Strength and Power. Pretty inspirational podcast. There's this guy who talks about bodybuilding word and everything like that. So he said, Hadi Chupan, apparently his attitude has soured towards the placing he got. He got second place, so his attitude has soured. Like
He was not having it, right?
he's not having it now. He's not happy. He's not happy with what happened.
Right.
So he think his he thinks his body has been overlooked by the judges.
And so did he expect to be the
Yeah.
Obviously.
top?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
He expected to place first,
That's
but
why
he didn't. Yeah, he did
his
not.
attitude
He
is
didn't
sour.
place first, so that's why he said his attitude has soured now. So attitudes sour, relations can sour as well.
Sounds like a deterioration of a relationship.
So remember that.
Going bad.
Nick's Strength and Power. That's the podcast, and what I learned from it, actually, a lot of things I learned, but what I learned from it was his attitude has soured. It's a beautiful combination of words.
Yeah.
Right? The collocation's just
Absolutely.
it's just beautiful.
Absolutely. And if you've noticed, Ali is a big fan of bodybuilding world, right? And every time, every time
That was a flex.
there's a chance, he brings it up, and I like it. I mean, it's an example. You serve as an example for anybody who's searching for like a guideline or a path to language learning. I think it's always a good idea to know what you like, go for it, right? And then there's a lot of stuff that you can learn while you're engaged with this whole thing. Right?
Interest plays a huge role here, guys.
It does.
You
It
got to be
does.
interested in the topic.
Don't make
You
it
gotta be
mechanical,
interested in the
ever.
material. Not got to be mechanical.
That's
Also, clock sticking.
absolutely.
Yeah, the clock sticking.
It matters. It matters. The sources matters. The method matters. So do not waste your time.
Do not let your time to go to waste, guys.
Oh yeah.
Time flies. It's limited.
Time flies.
You don't have enough time to waste on resources that are not going to help you.
Hurry up, the clock's
If
ticking.
you want to make a change, just do it with the the right resources.
Absolutely. خیلی عجله دارن برای اینکه زودتر یاد بگیرن. قبول دارین؟ و توی این عجله کردنشون بعضی وقتا میرن سراغ منابع یا افرادی که شاید خیلی قابل نباشن. به همین خاطر وقتشون هدر میره. بنابراین سعی کنید اینا رو پیدا بکنید. توی اون کانتنت حتما اون چیزایی که دوست دارید رو در این حال باهاش انگیج میشین emotionally and at the same time you get to learn a lot of stuff.
ما اینا رو گفتیم که در واقع کانتکست پروواید کنیم بچه برای the clock's ticking. اهمیت کانتکست. تا وقتی که کانتکست خوبی پروواید نکنید، من داشتم این فیشا رو میگفتم واسه همین که میتونم هر کدومشون رو تریس بکنم و بگم اوکی اینو از کجا یاد گرفتیم، اینو کجا دیدم. مثلا certain structures tend to slip through the cracks. Like you'll learn a lot of different structures and everything, but sometimes while using them, certain structures tend to slip through the cracks.
That's right.
دست میرن و شما باید دوباره برگردید و بهشون رجوع بکنید.
Yeah, you got to retain them.
Exactly, right? While talking. And it's okay sometimes. اهمیت کانتکست.
اصلا زبان یاد گرفتن it takes time. و حالا که time is limited سعی کنیم که درست پیش بریم.
دقیقاً.
فست فود نیست.
و من اینو مثلا وقتی داشتم با این نفر صحبت می‌کردم به من گفتش که okay, some of those structures tend to slip through the cracks, so it's okay, it's fine, no worries. و برمیگردم.
I think I have
some phrases.
I think I have an idiom.
Yeah, which is
the devil that you know is better than the devil that you don't.
Wow.
Something like that.
دوباره
برمیگرده به همین مسئله که
I'm going to look it up real quick.
Something, I mean, a situation that is familiar but miserable always makes you happier than taking risks which you're not sure about the consequences. So برای همین مردم ترجیح میدن که توی اون شرایط بده بمونن چون میترسه.
Yeah, you gotta. I think it takes a lot of practice.
You're right. So you have a comfort zone.
Yeah, it takes a lot of practice to not stay in that certain situation that you're at, right? In that circumstance that you're in, and I think it takes a lot of practice. Like for example, you could just go for a new item on the menu, right? It could be as small as that, or taking a new path to work.
Yeah.
It could be these ordinary sort of, seemingly ordinary kind of things that you would do to actually train yourself to trek on a new path.
We don't even do that.
So found it.
That's not good, yeah.
Better the devil you know than the devil you don't.
Better the devil you know.
Yeah, better the devil you know. This is the first time.
That's beautiful. Yeah, first time for me as well.
The first time
thank
I'm
you.
hearing it. Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate
Said when you think it is wiser to deal with someone or something familiar, although you do not like him or her or it, than to deal with someone or something you do not know that might be worse. Better the devil you know than the devil you don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not taking the risk to change it. Go for another job. If you don't have any offers, just update your resume, go learn something new, do something about it. You will be miserable, even more miserable in 5 years.
I am reminded of something. Take the leap. Take a leap of faith.
Take a leap of faith.
Take a leap of faith. Learned it while playing Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed. Yeah.
I'm a gamer, guys. What can I say? Assassin's Creed. Take a leap of faith.
Yeah.
Right? That's what he does.
I loved it. And then at the same time, you hear a hawk.
Yeah, you hear a hawk.
Flying by, and you see it. It's beautiful.
Take a leap of faith, guys. Sometimes you got to do it.
Yeah, but what organizations do, what fixed salary does to you. And we're not necessarily speaking in the vacuum. We understand that the job market cannot necessarily be open all the time. And it's not so easy to switch between, careers. Because you're good at what you do, it's your routine and you're comfortable with it. But if you're looking for growth, and it takes a lot of risk, especially in like a poor economy, it's not always easy to preach that easily.
Yeah.
But still, generally, it's not necessarily about careers, but it's also about like relationships, like the people you deal with, right? You're comfortable with a couple of people that you deal with, but there are times when, you gotta look for something new and look for people that, make you feel more comfortable, more at home. And
so we can use that. So we can use all that as context for big companies enslave you.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to take a leap of faith.
Take on a challenge.
Break away with something. Can we say that as well?
I guess you
could
can.
Be said.
Break away from.
شما اینو سرچ کنید بچه‌ها و توی کامنت ها ما بگید که break away with something. Could it be used here? Not sure. Yeah.
I guess you can. I guess you're right. Yeah. I was thinking about AI these days. It's big. It's a big topic. Everybody's talking about AI.
It is big.
Any product that you see on the market, if they want to sell big, they go like this. AI is incorporated in this product or anything. But
even if it's not.
Because for AI, basically for AI, now is as good a time as ever.
And many people confuse AI with like, smart devices. I've heard by many AI experts and people who have a say in this whole system and technology, they say that AI is not necessarily a tool, but an agent, because it makes autonomous decision. I was also I was thinking about highlighting the word autonomy. And the importance of learning.
Autonomous region.
Oh yeah, autonomous region, autonomy. Yeah. I think it's very crucial for language learners to pay attention to root words, right? Like the word auto, right? In the word autonomy, it means self-governed, like something that governs itself. And I think it's really helpful to look for other words that have the word auto or the root auto in them. Like when we say autonomy, there's auto, self-governed, and then nomi, which is rule or regulation. So it always helps to know some root words and like prefixes, suffixes that have some meanings, and you would have an idea every time you bump into some new words. So autonomy and autonomous is the cue, and context is the AI.
Let's end with this.
Something that encourages you.
توی پادکستی داشتم من اینو میدیدم که میگفتش که انگیزه خیلی قوی باید داشته باشی برای اینکه یه کاری رو به سرانجام برسونی. میگفت you require a strong incentive in order to get that done.
That's right.
خیلی جالب بود واسم. Strong incentive. خب پست این کلمه قبلا خورده بودیم بارها.
Of course.
و مثلا incentive رو جای مختلف شنیده بودم. اما فکر کنم this is where it clicked.
It did.
And strong incentive it kind of hits the mark.
فعل قشنگی هم داره incentivize.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
And strong incentive. So those who مثالش هم یادم بود میگفتش که those who see abortion as murder, they have a strong incentive to stop people from having one.
That's right.
Yeah, داشت راجع به این right wing های آمریکایی حرف میزد که anti-abortion هستن و میگفت they have a strong incentive to stop other people from having it. خیلی جالب بود واسم. و این میمونه وقتی که کانتکست رو بدونید و وقتی کجا استفاده میشه و اونجایی که یاد گرفتید این کلمه یا عبارت رو خاطرتون بمونه میتونید تو نوتی که در واقع مینویسید یه گوشه‌ای ذکر کنید. مثلا اگه حافظتون خیلی خوب باشه میتونید اونو نگه دارید. مثلا من بعد از 10 سال میتونم بگم که کدوم عبارت رو کجا یاد گرفتم. Sometimes خیلی 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 زیاد اون memory یادت میمونه که مثلا okay yeah I learned this word or I learned this particular phrase while playing Assassin's Creed.
And it's a recurring sort of term in yeah it is in crime stories, for example. The murderer's incentive to commit such crime.
Don't even get me started on crime stories.
So
murder weapon, crime scene.
And they're very famous. If you look up different podcasts, you bump into a lot of podcasts that are about crime stories because it's very fascinating for
Speaking
people
of crime stories, حتما نسخه صوتی ما رو توی کست باکس گوش کنید. یه آهنگ فوق العاده داریم.
Yes, we do.
All right.
Yes, we do.
Thank you guys. Parmida, thank you so much for
being
here. I appreciate you guys being here, Hamid. Thank you
Great
as well.
Great pleasure.
Thank you guys for watching/listening to this episode. You guys are listening to this episode on Castbox. You guys are watching it on YouTube. You can find us on 3 different platforms: YouTube, Castbox, and Instagram. Do let us know what you guys think about this episode. Yeah, we definitely appreciate the feedback, guys. Hamid Jawani, Parmida.
What a great pleasure. Thank you so much.
It was a great pleasure.
Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Ali Niksat here.
Signing out.